Next one comes from James Erdinger in response to the death of the Kronos, a video I did in December 2021. And he writes, "It seems clear to me that Korg launched the Nautilus to keep alive the earning potential of the Oasis and Kronos software. I don't think Nautilus was truly meant as a successor. Now that the Kronos production is winding down, I suspect there will be a new workstation to wear the crown. Whatever it may look like, Nautilus will become a popular second banana and will continue to be valuable for a long time. At least that's what seems a plausible story within my limited corporate strategy skills." Very interesting comment, James. I think another reason for the Nautilus to exist, especially since Korg released the compatibility software for the Kronos sound libraries. I'll admit that prior to launching the Nautilus, the rumours were that there was a new flagship in the offing. I do wonder whether this was held back due to COVID and the life of Kronos being extended until they can mount a marketing campaign. But we shall see. James then responds, "There may also be corporate incentive to distance themselves from the long-in-the-tooth Kronos moniker. A new flagship released by Korg has generally been under the new name in the past experience. You'll notice that Nautilus was not named Kronos Express or something like that. It seems that they're like an attempt to release it with a clean birth certificate, divorcing it from the growing Kronos criticism that slowly developed, even though the core software hasn't changed too much. Once Kronos stops production, the stage is clear for the future flagship. And the Kronos name will not be spoken anymore. It won't be called Kronos Rev 4, Kronos Extreme, or some other related name. They'll want to debut it without past associations, criticism, or was valued or not. Time will show, I guess." And I wrote back and said, all valid points, and I think there will be a gap between the death and the resurrection of a new model workstation, and the Nautilus just filling a void. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. This next comment or question comes from the Deathbeats, aka Gary, and it's in response to silly prices for postage, keyboards lasting 40 years, a video I did in December 2021. Gary writes, "Hey mate, I know where you're coming from regarding eBay prices. Years ago it was possible to find a bargain on the sites, but these days you have people selling TR-808 and TR-909s for $10,000 or more. Boutique modules are listed for far more than the retail price, which always makes me laugh when stores such as Anderton's or Sweetwater are still selling the particular device. The other one that annoys me is people selling knobs and sliders for classic drum machines and synths at stupid prices, with insane postage on top of that. Cheers." And I've been, just before I get into the question, I've been in the market for a specific part and I can only get it from one place, and they want to charge $60 for a $3 part because the postage is so expensive from the US to the UK at the moment. Anyway, my response was, I think a lot of eBay listings are for the type of money is by chancers. I do believe this, who might try and hook a whale. Yes, there are a few instruments that may be worth thousands of dollars, but that's not many. And I truly believe this. I think the market is being hyped. I've said on the channel for a while there is a market for good aftermarket spares. As long as these instruments are still in circulation, there is a requirement for knobs, fader caps, and other spares, you know, resistors, potentiometers, etc., etc., but not at inflated prices. I think there are a few sellers out there that are selling at reasonable prices, but then you get hit for massive postal charges, which is unfortunate. I've been after a potentiometer for a U110, which is actually the volume pot, for nearly 2 years, but no one has them in stock. There are a number of people who are reported to be selling them, but when you go to their page and try to buy them, they don't have any in stock, which is a pain. I wish they would just take them down from the site rather than try and continue to say they've got them and then you get there and they haven't. And the other thing about this is I can't find an aftermarket substitute at the moment. I've been looking, or I'm looking for a U110 that I can break for parts or something like that. So, but most people don't realise that big corporations, Korg, Yamaha, Roland, still do actually carry some of these spares in their parts store. So it's kind of, if you need something, it's kind of worth getting in contact with them first before you start searching the internet. They don't advertise these parts, by the way, but if you ring their support organisation, quite often they go, "Oh, hang on a minute, we've got those parts listed in our French support organisation, and they charge you X amount of money," which is not massive, to be honest, but they do charge you for bringing them across and then sending them on to you. But you know, sometimes they do have these parts. In terms of people selling on eBay for more than retail, when retailers are still listing them, yes, unless the retailer holds physical stock back, the fact that they are still listed doesn't sometimes mean you can buy them. A lot of retailers were still listing the Kronos 2 into this year, which is 2022, when they really didn't have access to stock. There were a couple of retailers that had stock in warehouses, and Thomann was one of them, but a number of other retailers still had the Kronos 2 listed on the website, but when you went to try and buy it, you couldn't. I tried to order the JU08 for a year, which, you know, on a website or a couple of websites that still listed them as available, but eventually kept coming back as unable to supply. So I ordered it, I paid my money, but then the retailer had to come back and say they were unable to supply and refund me the money. And eventually the order was cancelled. What was really annoying about that was they took my money first before they cancelled the order. So, you know, I had to effectively fund their business, because that money would have sat in their bank account before they refunded it back to me.